Hey guys, TJ here. To start a career in web development, you need to choose a career path. Web development over the years has become so broad that as a beginner, selecting how you're going to settle down can be a bit challenging and confusing, and that's understandable. First of all, you need to understand every type and aspect of web development. Before you can choose how you want to go about it, you need to understand the various aspects of web development. We have the front end, we have the back end, and we have the full stack developers. First of all, web design and web developments are not the same thing. Web designers will design websites. Their job is to draw out how exactly the site is going to look using various design softwares. Web development, on the other hand, focuses on writing the actual code and other development methods for the sites to actually work. Well, now that we're back on the topic, front-end developers, I'm going to start with them. Front-end developers actually are responsible for creating the look, feel, and interactive components of a website. This role is often confused with web designer guys since their job is to also create UI components, but the development methods are actually very different. A web designer uses design softwares like Figma, Adobe XD to draw out how exactly the website is going to look like. Front-end engineers use markup and programming language to create all the images, button, and text that you see on the front page of a website. Front-end engineers actually uses several programming technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and some frameworks like React, jQuery, and Vue. Moving on to the backend developers, aka the people no one really cares about. The backend developers has one of the most crucial roles in web development. You see, the crazy thing is, a fully featured website doesn't run on looks alone. There is a lot going on in the backend of every website that you visit. A backend developer writes the server-side code to make sure data flows back and forth from a website. That is the front end, meaning what you see, to the back end, meaning what you don't see. Examples like servers, databases, and the likes. Take a look at YouTube, for example. You see that big red button that you see there? You should probably press it. Once you hit the subscribe button, it changes to a gray kind of subscribe mode, and if you hit the notification bell too, you see that it changes from just one bell to a bell that's like shaking and has this kind of like shaking emoji on it. That job is actually done by front-end developers, but to make your subscription actually count and to indicate that you have subscribed, YouTube has to store your subscription in a database. That job is actually done by the back-end developers. You should probably try it. Hit the red button over there and see the magic. So, back-end developers uses several technologies like Java, Ruby on Rails, PHP, Python, and some database technology like MySQL and MongoDB. Moving on, we have the full stack developers. The full stack developers are a rare and not so rare kind of developers because they are more and more turning up every day, but they have a very unique ability of writing both front end code and back end code together. Like, they can literally create a front end and a back end aspect of a website. Full stack developers work with multiple technologies. They can create a fully functioning website if they so desire. Whilst wanting to be a full stack developer can be thrilling if you're very hardworking, you have to be very careful because it's kind of sort of a good plan to lean to one aspect and become more good in one aspect, because so you can't be partially good in the both. You have to be very good at one aspect because if you're planning to get a job, it'd be easier to just like pick one. If you see a vacancy for a front-end developer and a vacancy for a back-end developer, so you'll be able to like just pick anyone that you feel you're good for. So it's always a good idea to lean towards one aspect, be it front end or back end. Well, a full stack developer work with basically any kind of web technology, and they can work with front end technologies like HTML, CSS, and they can work with backend technologies like PHP, Python, and the likes. So, after learning all this, how exactly should you choose? Well, first of all, you have to find out what exactly is fascinating to you. You have to look at both aspects, all the aspects, and look at, alright, which is most fascinating to you. Because the only thing that's going to keep you going if you want to get into this crazy world of web development, you need to be fully inspired and continue to be willing to learn more, because it's not an easy task. Is it front end? Is it back end? Or is it both? You have to try it out. But my personal advice is that you can't really know which you like and which you don't like without actually trying out basically all of them. Like, first of all, you have to start with HTML, then slowly graduate to CSS, then you can graduate to JavaScript. From JavaScript, you can move on to PHP, which is a backend technology. Learning those technology in that aspect will give you a taste of everything, front-end technologies to back-end technologies. So after learning the small aspects of all of them, you're by that point you would have already find out which exactly you want. So you can now lean towards one, or you can just do everything and become a full stack developer. And your choice. I wish you luck though. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving big thumbs ups, and that experiment we talked about, that U is in the red button, yeah, try it. It means you're subscribing and you are awesomely supporting me in more and more of these things that I'm trying to do. It'll be highly appreciated, and I would love to hear your opinions in the comment below. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.